Hey everyone, welcome to the Dance Diaries. I'm Carol.
And I'm Kim. Welcome everyone.
Today we are here at Constitution Dancesport in Stamford, Connecticut.
We've been here a couple of times.
Yeah.
We weren't doing the Dance Diaries at those times, but we've been here, and this is such a great competition.
So with us today, we have Stephanie Byrne, who is a sort of a newbie to the Dancesport competition.
Welcome, Stephanie.
We're so
excited to have you.
And we wanted to interview you because we're so excited. You are a great fan and follower of our podcast.
Big fan.
And I just want to say how excited we are. And you are like 17 months into your dancing, and you've told us, based on like the reach outs that you've done, that you've learned so much from this podcast, and that means so much to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're so excited.
Thank you. I mean, I really appreciate all the information you guys have shared with me.
Yeah, and we're going to share some of that tonight.
So before we even get started, I would love to know what attracted you to ballroom dancing and kind of when you got into that a little bit.
Well, I've always loved dancing since when I was in high school. I went to a high school that had modern dance as an offering as part of the curriculum.
Right.
So for my first 2 years of high school, I got to take a modern dance class like once or twice a week. And I loved it. But other than that, I never had any opportunity to actually have any formal dance training.
Yep.
And so then as I got to be an adult and had my own money and could spend it how I wanted,
Yeah.
like I dabbled. I took some group classes. I took some, I went to, there would be salsa gatherings, and I would do the group class before the salsa social and things like that. But I never really stuck with it because I was working hard. I was traveling for work, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And then after COVID shutdowns, I was just having a really hard time getting back out into the world and dealing with people.
Yeah.
So in 2024, I was like, I need to do something good for myself. And a private dance lesson sounded way easier than having to deal with a whole group of people at a group lesson. So I signed up for an intro lesson and went for a private lesson, and I just fell in love, and now we're here.
It's so funny because I was just talking to Rufus. He's one of the judges here, and he's been doing this for 59 years, and he just said to me, like, everybody has a reason why they start to dance, and it could be all over the gamut. And it's exciting to me that that you just kind of want to slowly get out into the world. And then what? You got into the studio, and then tell us about that.
And then from there, from my first intro lesson, I bought a package right away. And then I started going in twice a week.
Yeah.
And then there was an internal studio event.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, sign up for it. And I'm like, I don't even know how to dance at all.
Yeah.
They're like, it's fine. And like, we're all friends here. So I did that. And, oh, I love that.
So much fun, right?
I was so nervous just getting out there.
Was that a showcase? Like what kind of event was that?
It was a showcase event, but I didn't do a showcase because I'd only been dancing for like 6 weeks at the time.
Right.
So, but I just did heats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like a mini match, probably like a mini match type thing. But
I still hadn't met a lot of people at the studio yet. So I was so nervous getting out there. I'm like, people are looking at me and I don't even know how to dance, but I loved it. I got such a rush from it. And the music, the dancing, the dresses, the hair.
Tell us about your first competition. How did you get into it? What was your experience like choosing a dress, how did you feel?
Well, my first competition, all right, I had been dancing a couple of weeks, and they're like, there's a competition coming up in August. And I'm like, that's less than 10 weeks away. I don't know how to dance at all. There's no way I can do a competition in August. And they're like, sure you can. Trust us. And I'm like, okay.
Sure you can. That's the quote of the day.
I have that same experience.
Yeah.
And I literally did not even have a proper competition dress. I had like some cheap gown I bought at Macy's or at Boss Cobbs or something.
That's unusual though. I mean,
That for the first one.
yes.
Yeah. So, and then I had like a short dress that I bought.
I'm actually happier to hear that you did that than to do what I did, which was run out and buy like an expensive dress that didn't get, by the way, approved by the people that I dance with.
Oh, and all the things that go into it. Like, I had no idea. They're like, you need this jewelry, and you need fishnets. And
was that overwhelming though for you? Or like, tell me how you
But I was glad that they were at least telling me. Like, I really wish they would have told me just go out and buy like the cheapest competition dress off of Amazon. Although for me, like, I'm not easy to fit for.
Okay, that's good. That's interesting.
Or if you were going to be, or if you thought that you were going to continue to compete, just buy that dress from the get-go.
Yeah, the average person that's a newbie coming in, they don't know, like, honestly, most of us don't know what to do. I think you like went full on, like if you were doing a national competition.
Did you get a custom dress as your first dress?
I got it was a very, very high-end pro's dress that was
Nice.
worn like 2 times, and it just fit. So it was a custom dress for her, and our body types fit, and she
Oh,
was a
that's
pro,
awesome.
and it was, but I had Katerina Alorio
Yeah, you're
to guide
very
me,
lucky.
so yeah.
That's one of, if you're
Shout
interested,
out.
everybody, one of our podcasts with Katerina just talks about confidence on the dance floor. She's amazing. And then she was like, I find her to be someone, if you're interested to be on this podcast, just check that out.
Right.
The
And
show
that
notes,
first
I'll put it.
dress, if you remember,
Yeah.
wide open. And I was like, no. And Katerina's like, you're going to own the dance floor in that dress, and you're going to dance into the dress and all this, great mindset stuff. But
And I'm so, like, thinking of that, did you feel exhilarated or overwhelmed going into this first event? Because, there's a kind of a lineup to that. Usually people socialize that with you and they get you into a studio event, and then it kind of accelerates beyond that. So were you in a state of exhilaration or something else leading to that?
I was so stressed actually going into that first competition.
Okay.
And it was mostly the unknown and that not knowing if I'll fit in and being pretty sure I won't fit in because I usually don't.
But fit in with whom, though?
And
The
I hadn't learned yet that
Yeah.
being myself and being different is a good thing. Like it took me it took me a while to get there. So I was like, all right, I'm going to dance. It'll be fun. The minute I stepped out on the floor, and this says a lot about my personality, because whenever I'm anxious about things, I tend to take a deep breath and then just charge headfirst into it. Like,
Right, yes.
Let's just get it over with, right?
Well, that's not bad.
And I got such a rush.
See?
And I was hooked from that first competition. I was like, oh, I want to do this, but I want to see if I can actually get good.
Yeah.
I love that hooking
That's
thing.
not
You are
bad.
hooked. We had Joe, who was like that. You hooked from the beginning.
Yeah.
As a student, and we were too, by the way. I mean, it was nonstop action after our first comp. I just wanted to do more and more and more.
Yeah.
It's
Well, after that first competition, I went home and I went through my budget and I was like, how much can I afford to spend? I crunched the numbers. I went in the next week and I'm like, I want to see how well I can do, how far I can take this, but this is what I have to work with. So
Yeah.
let's figure out how to make that work.
it's so funny you did that from the get-go.
That's
a lot of
really
people
smart.
don't do that.
That's
right away,
right.
You know what? I had watched Dancing Queens.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And I had seen some of them say they were spending 6 figures. And if I had that, I would love to be able to spend that, but I don't have that. So I'm like, here's what I do have. What can we do with this?
Right,
So-
right. I mean, I think, and I watched that program too. I mean, that is that was a competitive dance show that was really out there, and they were doing multiple competitions a quarter. Right? It's the way I kind of if you were to think of an average competitive dancer or someone sort of midway. There's highs and lows to whatever you just described there.
Well, I'm sure whatever budget I came up with, somebody would help me spend it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I keep saying it, if I win a $1 billion jackpot which you have to play to win, but I'm like, I would just sponsor all my dance friends to go to all the competitions.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Exactly.
was thinking when you went to that first comp and you talked about stress, but we on our podcast talk a lot about fear, anxiety, and doubt. And Kim and I talk about that all the
I was
time.
just going to go there. I was just going to say, talk to us about that very first experience, what you were thinking, feeling, what was going through your mind. How did you manage it? Because we know that first experience is really probably completely anxiety filled before it turns into excitement.
Well, I mean, I had all of the fear, anxiety, and doubt, but I never actually put it in those terms until I heard you talk about it.
Yeah.
The first time I met you. I was just freaking out. And my poor sister, I have a twin sister, and I think
Oh,
she
my
had
goodness.
phone calls with me every day that week leading up to that competition. I was like, what am I doing? Who do I think I am? Why do I think I can do this? And so, and mostly, I didn't realize the fear and the doubt part as much as the anxiety at first. So that was there from the get-go. Every time, just going into a lesson or,
You felt it in a lesson, not just in the competition?
well, for me, it was just oh my gosh, what am I doing? Do I really think I can do this? And I would have to get myself psyched up every time.
Yeah, I feel it in lessons sometimes. You don't? Of course. I always want to bring my best to a lesson.
No, that's true. I think recently I have, because people like your instructors do ask, can you come dressed a little more like you would be in a competition? Would you mind wearing a skirt so that we can see your leg action and your hip action? And then it becomes a little more real. Like sometimes I was telling Kim, like I would show up in sweats or, not so much anymore, but in
those
my early days,
that's what I did all the
Yeah.
time. And I actually had a coach tell me one time, I was talking about like my lack of confidence. And she was like, carry yourself as if you are already the dancer you want to be.
that's like
come to
such
lessons
a great tip.
and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden my like fellow students and friends and stuff started commenting. They're like,
Yes,
something's different about you. And I'm like, it's like the fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
We're all faking it. 15 years later, I made that.
We always say, just
But it
fake
did
until
help
I
my
make it. Yes,
confidence.
yes.
Like I'm like, oh, and you talk about when you talk about doubts, you talk about limiting beliefs and stuff. And I had this limiting belief that you're not a dancer. You're not built like a dancer. You don't have any talent. You're not a dancer. And like, look at all these real dancers and you're not one. And then all of a sudden I start carrying myself like I'm a dancer. And then I'm like, wait, you train in this. You're a dancer now, whether you like it or not. Like you're not a great dancer, but you're a dancer.
Yeah, you're a dancer. That's
So how
exactly
long
right.
did it take you to start thinking that way? Like what turned that mindset around for you?
I would say, I think it was Natalia, the coach I had, and that was sometime late 2024, early 2025. So it had
yeah.
been about 6 to 9 months. And I had just had all the stress and anxiety leading up to that. But, and when she gave me that advice, and then I started acting it, and then I was like, oh, okay. But I still had to go through a lot to, because those, actually going into that March competition that
Yeah.
she was helping me get ready for, I had a full-fledged panic attack the first morning of the
Oh,
competition.
talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is that?
and I was shocked because I hadn't had a panic attack in years, and I was like,
So if you describe what
Yeah,
your
just describe-
interpretation of that panic attack to that being what that was on a dance morning, we'd love to learn more.
yeah. So it was smooth session. I was going to be competing my first multi-dance championship.
And those are the videos that you sent over to us, right?
No, I don't have
okay.
videos from that
From that
one,
one,
actually.
Because I was going to
wish
say the
I
ones
did.
that you sent over, we'll share. They were
Those
great.
are more recent.
Okay.
But and I had this dress that I bought thinking I would love it, and then I got it and I hated it, but I was stuck with it because this is what you do. I could not get a new one in time, and I've been working so hard towards this, competing my first multi-dance championship, and I was like, okay, like I'm as ready as I can be. And that morning, I walked into the ballroom. I looked out onto the dance floor and watched all these people warming up. And this is how my brain works. I immediately find the best dancers on the floor.
Oh, wow.
And most of the time, they're pros dancing with male students. And I forget that they're there.
Right.
And I went, oh my God, what am I actually doing here? And I started to hyperventilate.
Yes.
And I sat down at the table and I had to turn my back to the dance floor.
Okay.
And I started doing box breathing and like feel your feet on the floor. Oh, sorry. Anything I knew about how to manage that. I'm like, I cannot lose it right now. But I think I'm gonna pass out. And right then, my sister had come to watch, and she walked into the ballroom, and I hopped up and I grabbed her arm, and I'm like, we need to go out in the hallway now. We went out to the hallway. I burst into tears, and she was like, don't cry your makeup off. You just paid a lot of money to get that makeup done. And then I was like, everyone here is so much better than me. Like, what am I doing here? And she was like, take a deep breath. She's like, that's not true. You have to remember, you went out and looked at all the best dancers and you're comparing yourself to them. She's like, you're going to do fine. You've worked really hard for this. She's like, it doesn't matter what the outcome is. Go dance your best. And then I got through the day. And I did sort of have fun. It was still a very stressful day. But I did better than my first multi-dance championship, ladies B, bronze. and smooth. I didn't make the finals. And like no one,
Come on now. See?
no one, no, I didn't.
Oh,
no,
you didn't?
and
No, I thought you
didn't.
said- okay,
and then
okay.
no one actually told me that I didn't make the finals, and I was still like, I don't know. And then finally, I was like, oh, I
were you
think.
standing there? Is that
I was sitting at the table, and I'm like,
Okay.
what's going on, and whatever. And then my sister was like, oh, I think that's the finals for.
Oh,
The,
I see. Yeah,
whatever.
yes.
Oh,
But then I
This was your first.
No
It
one makes
was,
it in the
and-
first.
And that's what all my dance friends told me
How did you
later.
get
They're
coached through that, though? I mean, remember we talked
Yes.
a lot about how your instructor might help, and I know so this might be a sore spot for you, but for us, we've had our instructors be good about that and to help temper our expectations and not tell us we're not going to make those finals, but to encourage us on what did go well. I'm wondering what your experience was like.
I wish I remembered more details. My perception of it all was I was just kind of left in a vacuum. And then when I was upset, he was like, well, it's your first one. Like, you shouldn't expect to make the finals. And I was like, okay, but I still wanted to.
Yeah.
Of
And
course.
it was kind of
Yeah.
just like,
How did you feel you danced that day?
I felt like I did okay, but not great. I felt like I was definitely in my head, and I wished I could get out of my head and just dance.
Yeah.
But I had just learned some new patterns that weren't comfortable yet, and I was out there and I was like faking it with a fake smile, but I wasn't confident in the technique. I wasn't confident in the patterns, and I was just like, what am I doing? And it was
So,
like, just get through it,
After that competition, with all of that experience and all of that information, what did you do with it?
So it was good for me, but I tell all my non-dance friends and my new dance friends who are just getting into it, it is a total personal growth experience. It's not just like, oh, I'm learning to dance. I'm like physically learning. I'm like, you will go through the ups and downs mentally, emotionally. I think the mental and emotional parts have been harder for me than the physical parts because it's like just, I don't know. For me, I started this when I was 52 years old. I was very confident in my career. I was very confident in certain aspects of my life. And then all of a sudden I'm starting something as a beginner and I just think, okay, I'm going to commit to it and then I'm going to be good. And you don't realize, oh, no matter how hard you work, it's going to take years to get
It may
good.
take years. It may take years.
And I kind of felt like the feedback I was getting from my instructor was like, you're not a dancer, you don't have a dance background, and it's going to
my
take you
God.
10 years till you're decent, right? And I was like frustrated with that because I'm like, I don't have 10 years. Who knows? I might not even be
So
here.
you know that I've experienced the same thing. I don't know if Kim, you remember an earlier podcast where there was a time where I wanted to dance outside of the Fred Astaire dance studios, and I wanted to dance in an independent dance studio. And I'm like, there was something to the effect, well, you'll be allowed to do that when you dance, about 14 years. I'm like, 14 years? First of all, I'm doing the splits today. Who knows what 14 years is going to look like? I was comparing like the moments of like time. Time is what you make of it yourself, right? How you interpret what you want to do with your time, your energy, your passion. And so finding a good match for whether it's an instructor or a studio or whatever that's going to help you. Like you talked about, having those like personal goals and what you were trying to get, in place.
Yeah, for me, I need short-term goals, medium-term, and long-term goals. If you tell me like, okay, you want to get here, but it's going to take you 10 years, I don't know that I can stay motivated for 10 years and like stay committed to doing this as much as I do.
At 52 years old, no offense, but I'm a similar age, and I'm just like, if someone said that, I would be like, for example, there are things I just want to do in this year. And plan that way.
So you break the goals down. Right. So that's good.
So I just really needed and also I find that the other thing is, you said something about this, getting validation from your teacher after a competition performance.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we're allowed to do that? Because and it's still hard for me to say this. I realize I need positive feedback on the things I did right. Because I'm always going to be focused on the things I need to improve.
We all are.
that's right. We are right. Yeah,
And
that's
I
right.
get that, your teachers are there to help you improve.
Yes.
but I'm like, I don't think my teacher realized how much like I need feedback on, like, look at how, because I forget about the things that I like, oh, I used to not be able to do that. Now I can do that today. Right. So I tried to start this thing where at the end of every lesson, we were going to talk about one positive thing.
That's wonderful.
Like one thing I did well. It didn't go over well.
Well,
So-
you have to stick to it. Here's the thing. You have to stick
Yeah,
to
it
it. It's
didn't
like
stick.
everything else. So if it didn't go well that time, do it again and again.
Well, now I do that just for myself.
Yeah.
But sometimes
Your
like,
personal affirmations on
Yeah.
here's what went well.
okay,
right.
like I did this well today. You know,
Yes,
I
yeah.
need to remind myself, and I can't put that on anybody else. Like I have to do that for myself. Now, my new teachers I have, like I went in, I was very upfront, open and honest. I'm like, here are my challenges. I'm very insecure. And I'm very focused on the things I need to improve. And I'm like, but I need you to also remind me of the growth, because without that, like sometimes I'm not always disciplined enough to get myself to focus on it. And I was like, oh my God, what are you, a 6-year-old? But I'm like, no, I'm a grown woman who realizes that this is what I need, right?
So I think that is fabulous. That's going to get you to your goals much faster when you actually verbalize, because I think that's part of the challenge is the communication that we have between our instructor and our studio, because they have something in mind for us and we have something in mind for ourselves. And if we don't verbalize what our expectations, what our goals are, where I want to be in the next year or 6 months or 10 years, whatever it is, they have a different path and I have a different. So I think that is fabulous that right from the get-go, I mean, take that as a tip, right away if you're a new student, have that communication with your studio, with your instructor, exactly what you want to accomplish, exactly what your expectations are, your short-term, long-term, midterm and long-term goals.
I think that's a great tip. And I wish I knew that going in, because in the beginning I was just like, oh my gosh, thank you for being there and for helping me learn this. But it got to a point where a lot of my motivation was proving my teacher wrong. And then I realized,
So I want to know that. You said that a couple of times this evening. What is it that makes you want to prove them wrong? Why did you feel you had to prove that to begin with?
well, I think it first came up when I was looking to do a showcase. And there were some things I wanted to do. And he was like, your technique's not good enough. You're not good enough. This isn't good enough, And I was just like,
I'd be out of there. I'd be like,
I'm like, look, he was never mean to me.
Yeah.
I think he was just trying to be realistic and make sure I had, because I come up with crazy ideas. Like I watch all the videos online. I'm like, I'm going to do this like Broadway dance in my first showcase.
You sound like I have that
we still
story.
do that today. In fact, like watching the pros, sometimes it can be like very overwhelming because you're like, that's how I'd like to look, or in my mind, that's how I dance. But I think the version of yourself that you put on the floor based on your goals, the short-term ones, especially Kim, like it just takes a little time to just be very comfortable with what you've put on the floor. You got to remember your own personal journey. You're not that pro. You're not the Dancing with the Stars person or the Dancing Queen person. You're you.
But definitely don't stop dreaming. Definitely don't stop dreaming. Because that story you just told is, I share this story all the time. First week I went in, and I showed my instructor. I'm like, I want to dance like this. It was Karina Smirnoff in her holiday, right? Karina, I love you. And I always had, she's like, I love her to death, and she's like my idol. And all of a sudden, here I am taking private lesson with Karina.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, don't stop dreaming.
No, and I think I have to dream.
Yes.
Like I love this. And if I thought I'm just going to be like a so like below average bronze level dancer for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be motivated to keep doing it. I do understand that, I talk about this a lot with my friends. Like at some point I'm going to get to the place where I'm like, this may be the best I can get, and then I have to deal with that. And I did a lot of that processing after that competition in March, where I was like, oh, I'm really not that good, and I didn't make the finals in Ladies B. I did get bronzes in Ladies A, so that kind of made up for it, but I didn't make the finals in Ladies B bronze, right? But I was like, I was the whole drive home, I was like playing music and crying, and I was like grappling with this idea of like, can you love it even if you'll never be good at it?
I think that mindset of yours, though, never be good at it. That is on your mind a lot. And I know that this podcast has helped you rethink some of those things. Could you give our audience maybe 3 tips on how you've maybe changed your mindset based on some of the things we've talked about on the podcast?
Well, a lot of it comes down to those limiting beliefs that you talked about, right? Because I had all these things in my head, like, you don't have a dancer's body, you don't have any talent, you don't have dance experience. Who do you think you are at 52 years old? Like, you're actually going to become a good dancer.
How's that working for you?
And that was making me miserable, like fighting those things all the time. And so after listening to your talking to you and then listening to your podcast, I started writing all that stuff out and like openly questioning it. Like, and Carol, you've said some things about like, there is no one right dancer's body.
There
and
isn't.
that I was like, oh, and like, so it started letting
That's because I've had like 5 of those dancers' bodies in 15 years. I'm like, so there's never not one.
But we say it all the time. We're like, look at her. She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's not a typical dancer's body. It has nothing to do with that.
And that's like freeing for
Yeah.
me. Like just hearing actual real dancers say that
Yeah.
is so freeing for me because I thought you look at the pros on Dancing with the Stars and they're all like
my God.
this big and, like, even if somebody paid me $1 million to do that full time, my body would never look like that. It just wouldn't. But
And
I
it
can
doesn't have
still
to. And it
do
doesn't have to.
beautiful things.
That's why I said, sometimes if you're comfortable in your own skin, but like getting there, this mindset stuff and, the tips that we've given about overcoming the fear, anxiety, doubt, the doubt part of how you look and how you feel, like there's a lot of work to be done in each and every one of us to feel comfortable. I do it because I love it. I get out, I have such joy in it, but it took me a long time to be calm about why I do this.
That's right.
Even though I professed it over the years, it does not mean I never got nervous or that I was like, what the hell am I wearing? And I look like crap or whatever, or what part of which body am I bringing today? Some things. So
I remember something you said about there was a competition dress that you ended up regretting and then it made you. And I'm like, oh yeah, I had that one in March, that horrible pink dress for my smooth. And I'm like, oh, I guess everybody goes through that once in a while, right?
Me too. And I love it that you really listen in detail to the podcast because there's so much great information in there.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm gonna say, and I'm always gonna get back to, those things that you're doing for yourself, don't think like you can. Perfect example, we use it all the time. You can't just wake up in the morning and do like 10 dumbbells with your arm and expect to have a muscle. It's something, your mind, your mindset, your subconscious is a muscle. It has to be trained as such. So these things, think about all the bad thoughts we put into our head all the time, all day long. Just switch it. Flip the switch and change it around to the good thoughts. That's what's going to change.
Well, I will tell you, I am still not quite there, but I am going through the process of getting there. But it doesn't just impact my dance journey, it impacts my entire life.
That's correct.
So just learning how to do that and challenge those thoughts and flip them around. And sometimes I feel ridiculous when I'm trying to do affirmations. So I'm like, you are a beautiful dancer. I get a little
Keep
cringe,
doing it.
right?
Keep doing it. And then it'll be, your subconscious will begin to believe it and you'll step right into it.
I did journaling and I still do for a long time. And when you start your day with the same sentence, and here's a little something as a reminder, everyone. I have in front of me a copy, sort of a little version of what our dance diary is going to look like. And in it, and I'm
Hold it up
taking
a little
notes here with
longer.
you today, it's to put down those affirmations. It's a place to do that. I used to do that in just regular journals. But guys, stay tuned because this is important for every dancer like you and like you, Kim, and like me, where you take a moment and you write your thoughts. You understand the gratitude of what you have for dancing. But even that freak out, this is the things I heard you say today. I was freaking out. I don't think I'm a good dancer and all these things. And how you're going to flip around that narrative for yourself, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I've lost competitions by freaking out. So yeah.
But I do think it is one of those things, like I'm trying to get more practiced at that. As much as I practice dance, practicing the mental aspects of it,
It's a journey.
it is a journey, but and I'm growing there and I'm not there yet, but I can see the improvement and it's definitely motivating me to go further.
That's wonderful. Well, we're so excited.
I wanted to, and I'm sorry, Kim, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking of a new student. Again, if you could think of something that would be helpful to a new student like you who just started dancing, something that you've learned that you could even further tell them.
Well, I can't actually take credit for this because it's someone a new ballroom dancer I follow on TikTok, but her name is Stephanie. She's in the San Francisco area. She started doing Latin in her 30s, but she was like, every misstep, every stumble, every time you look foolish, every time you make a mistake, it's all part of the journey.
Absolutely.
And that is how you improve and get better. So you should embrace those rather than, getting hard on yourself or getting down on yourself for having those experiences. So I'm trying to keep that in mind. And a lot of things you guys have said, I've kind of put that idea in my head too. It's like, it's all part of the journey. You can't start being the best. You have to start somewhere and grow. Right?
That's right. We are so excited. We're going to follow you.
Oh, yes.
We're going to follow your journey, not only your dance journey, but your mindset experience, and just see where it goes. But I will also say this. I commend you a lot because, as a coach, as a dance, mindset coach, as a personal mindset coach as well, I can, both of us, we can give these tools to everyone, to anyone, but it's only those who actually take it and use it that realize that, you can experience that change. You can become that fearless dancer. It is possible.
It is.
And that's the journey. It's not to win gold medals. It's to become that fearless dancer.
That is my goal, to be that fearless, confident dancer who just embraces it. And yeah, the results you can't control.
That's right.
You don't know who's going to be on the floor that day. You don't know
the coach, the judges,
and
nothing.
It comes
That's
down to
right.
personal preference sometimes with styles and things like that.
Right.
But I can control me and my experience of it. And for the first time, actually, recently, I feel like I'm starting to dance like at the August competition in Albany.
Yep.
It's the first time I went out there and competed and felt like I danced with joy and confidence and really embraced it.
Yeah. And
it
those are
was
the
like,
videos
wow.
you sent to us, right? So
And some
they're
showcase
awesome.
videos,
Yeah,
too.
they're so awesome. They're really,
So,
really great.
If I can have that experience all the time instead of having the panic attack and being like, what am I doing here? Like, that's what I want out of dance, right?
Yeah. So
And I wanna
listen,
connect to other people too.
you're not alone. I had a panic attack not at nationals, at regionals. I literally had a panic attack on the dance floor in the competition midstream. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm so
It was
sorry.
hard.
I blacked out at one of the, I would say 4 years in. It wasn't like early in it was like 4 years into dancing. I completely blacked out on the dance floor. Blackout, like not just panic. It was like, I see nothing.
Yeah.
So I have to say, sharing that with younger or newer dancers like me, I'm not younger, that helps though, because I really thought I was the only person going through that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I met you in June and you talked about fear, anxiety, and doubt, and I was like, oh, like really great dancers go through this too? I had no idea. I thought it was just me and there was something wrong with me. So I think everyone would benefit from having that.
I love that. Thank you so much.
So Stephanie, I know that you've got places to be and you're going to go watch this competition like we are.
We're going to meet up later again.
Yes,
Excited.
I'm so glad I got to spend time with you guys today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I got